I want you to think of a great ambition you once had, a promise you made to yourself with a fire in your heart, the person you were going to become, the business you were going to build, the discipline you were going to forge, the health you were going to claim. Now, I want you to ask yourself a quiet, honest question. Where is it now? If you are like most people, that ambition did not die in a blaze of glory. It was not destroyed by a single, catastrophic failure or a dramatic, life-altering event. The truth is usually far quieter and far more tragic. It died in silence. It bled out, slowly, over weeks, months, or years. It suffered a death by 1,000 cuts. And each cut was a choice you made. Each wound was a small, seemingly insignificant moment of surrender. This is the great, hidden trap that ensnares human potential. It is the reason most people give up, not with a bang, but with a whisper. Today, we are going to expose this trap. We are going to give it a name, and we are going to learn how to disarm it, for good. This is the trap of the little no. A little no is a micro-betrayal of a promise you made to yourself. It's the sound of the snooze button when you swore you would wake up early. It's the taste of the junk food when you promised you would eat clean. It is the comfortable warmth of the couch when you know you should be training, studying, or creating. It is the mindless scroll on your phone that steals the minutes you had allocated for growth. It is the quiet voice that whispers, tomorrow. It's not a big deal. You deserve a break. Individually, each little no feels harmless, trivial. A single drop of poison in a vast ocean. What harm can one drop do? You rationalize it. You justify it. You tell yourself it's the exception, not the rule. But you are missing the devastating truth of spiritual and psychological mathematics. Nothing is an exception. Every action is a cause, and every cause has an effect. These small surrenders accumulate. The drops of poison begin to concentrate. The small compromises compound, one on top of another, until the very foundation of your discipline begins to crack. This is the death by 1,000 cuts. It's not the one sword stroke that fells the warrior. It's the 1,000 tiny scratches that drain his lifeblood while he ignores them. Your willpower, your self-respect, your belief in your own ability to achieve, these are the lifeblood of your ambition, and every little no is a small, self-inflicted wound. The most insidious part of this process is not what it does to your schedule, but what it does to your identity. There is a powerful psychological principle at play here, a force that silently works against you every time you choose comfort over commitment. In the 1950s, social psychologist Leon Festinger developed a groundbreaking theory known as cognitive dissonance. The theory states that human beings have a deep-seated need for their beliefs and their actions to be in harmony. When your actions contradict your beliefs, it creates a state of mental discomfort, of dissonance. To relieve this tension, one of two things must change. Either your actions must align with your beliefs, or your beliefs must change to justify your actions. Think about that. You have a stated belief, I want to be a disciplined person who achieves this great goal. But then you perform an action, you hit the snooze button. This creates a conflict, a dissonance. Your mind must resolve it. The hard path is to get out of bed, forcing your action to align with your belief. This requires energy and willpower. The easy path, the path the brain naturally prefers, is to change the belief. You begin to subconsciously tell yourself a new story. Waking up early isn't that important. Discipline is for fanatics. Maybe this goal isn't what I really want anyway. I value my rest more. Do you see the trap? Every time you say a little no, you are not just making a small, poor choice. You are forcing your mind to justify that choice by secretly devaluing the promise you made to yourself. You are not just skipping a workout. You are teaching your brain to believe that the goal of being healthy is not worth the effort. You are casting a vote for a weaker version of yourself. And when you cast enough of those votes, a new identity is elected. The identity of someone who can't stick with things, someone who isn't disciplined, someone who always gives up. And you arrive at that identity not because you failed in a big way, but because you succeeded, perfectly, in failing in 1,000 small ways. This is the anatomy of surrender. Now that we have seen the trap in its full, terrifying clarity, we must ask why. Why is our brain so susceptible to this poison of small compromises? The answer lies in the very wiring of our neurology, and understanding it is the first step toward reclaiming our power. We have exposed the trap of the little no, and the psychological force of cognitive dissonance that makes it so lethal. But to truly become immune to it, we must go deeper. we must understand the very architecture of the brain and why it is so easily persuaded to betray our highest ambitions for the sake of a moment's comfort. The answer is simple, and it is rooted in our survival. Your brain is not designed to make you happy. It is not designed to make you successful or fulfilled. It is designed, first and foremost, to keep you alive. And in the ancient world where this brain was forged, survival meant two things: conserve energy and seek pleasure while avoiding pain. That is the brain's prime directive. Every decision is run through this ancient filter. And the little no, the choice to stay in bed, to eat the sugar, to avoid the difficult task, is a perfect solution to this primal equation. It conserves energy. It provides a small, immediate hit of comfort and pleasure. It avoids the pain of effort and discipline. From your brain's perspective, the little no is not a failure. It is a brilliant success. It is an efficient and logical choice. It has no concept of your long-term dreams. It only understands the immediate calculus of energy and comfort. This is why fighting your own nature with brute force is a battle you will always lose. You cannot defeat this ancient programming, but you can learn to work with it. You can become the conscious programmer of your own mind, and to do that, you must understand the fundamental law of how your mind changes. This brings us to the work of the Canadian neuropsychologist, Dr. Donald Hebb. In 1949, he postulated a theory that has become the bedrock of modern neuroscience. It is elegantly simple and profoundly powerful, and it is often summarized in a single phrase: neurons that fire together, wire together. This is known as Hebbian theory, and it is the mechanism behind neuroplasticity. Imagine your brain is a dense, untamed forest, and every thought or action is a path through that forest. The first time you choose to perform a difficult new action, let's say, waking up and immediately meditating, it's like hacking a new path through the jungle with a machete. It's difficult, slow, and requires immense effort. The alternative, hitting snooze, is a wide, paved, multi-lane superhighway that runs right through the middle of the forest. It requires no effort at all. What Dr. Hebb discovered is that every time you send an electrical signal down a neural pathway, you are reinforcing it. You are clearing the brush, widening the path, and making it easier to travel the next time. The first time you forced yourself to meditate, the path was rough. The second time, it's slightly clearer. The 100th time, it has become a well-worn trail. Now, apply this to the little no. Every time you surrender to comfort, you are sending a powerful signal down the snooze button, superhighway. You are strengthening that connection, making it faster, more efficient, and more automatic for the next time. At the same time, the path to discipline, the one you hacked out with the machete, is becoming overgrown with weeds from disuse. You are physically sculpting your brain with every choice you make. You are the architect of your own neurology. This is the neuroscience of self-sabotage. It is not a moral failing. It is a biological process. You have simply, through repetition, built a brain that is exceptionally good at choosing the easy path. This is why the voting analogy is so literal. Each little no is not just a vote for a weaker identity. It is a physical work order sent to your brain, instructing it to strengthen the neural circuits of surrender. You are training yourself, with world-class efficiency, to become a person who gives up. You are practicing failure until it becomes a flawless, unconscious skill. This process is supercharged by the chemical messenger of motivation, dopamine. When you give in to the little no, your brain releases a small amount of dopamine as a reward for choosing the correct survival path of comfort and energy conservation. It feels good. This chemical reward reinforces the action, making you more likely to repeat it in the future. It creates a powerful, addictive loop of self-sabotage, but here lies the key to our freedom. If this mechanism can be used to build the prison, it can also be used to tear it down and build a fortress in its place. If repeated little no's can pave the superhighway to failure, then repeated little yeses can forge a new path toward mastery. The same law that wires us for surrender can be used to wire us for strength. We just need the right tools and the right strategy to start laying down the first stones of that new path. We need an arsenal to fight for our own integrity. We have stared into the heart of the machine. We understand that our brain, in its quest for survival and efficiency, will always prefer the paved superhighway of comfort over the difficult, overgrown path of discipline. We know that every time we indulge in a little no, we are physically reinforcing that highway and casting a vote for a weaker self. But this knowledge is not a cause for despair. It is the source of our power, because the architect of that neurology is you. The law that says, neurons that fire together, wire together, is not a curse. It is a neutral principle. And we are about to use it to our advantage. If the little no is the poison that causes the death by 1,000 cuts, then the antidote is simple. It is the little yes. The little yes is the micro act of integrity. It is the conscious choice to honor the promise you made to yourself, no matter how small. It is the decision to take one step down the path of discipline, even when the superhighway of comfort is calling your name. Each little yes is a signal you send to your brain. It is a work order to start clearing that overgrown path. It is a vote you cast for the person you intend to become. Today, we will build your arsenal. These are the 3 core weapons for forging the unshakable yes. The greatest enemy of action is resistance. When you think of a large, difficult task, running a marathon, writing a book, building a business, the sheer scale of it can be paralyzing. Your brain, seeking to conserve energy, sees this giant mountain and immediately steers you toward the comfortable valley of procrastination. The law of the first step is designed to outsmart this resistance. The law is this: shrink the action until it is so laughably small, so impossibly easy, that it is harder to justify not doing it than it is to simply do it. Your goal is not run 5 miles. Your goal is put on your running shoes and step outside. That's it. That is the victory. Your goal is not write a chapter of your book. Your goal is open the document and write 1 sentence. Your goal is not meditate for 30 minutes. Your goal is sit on the cushion for 1 breath. This may seem like a simple mind trick, but you are leveraging a powerful psychological principle to pull yourself toward action. This ties into a phenomenon known as the Zeigarnik effect, named after the Soviet psychologist Bluma Zeigarnik. In the 1920s, she observed that waiters in a restaurant had a remarkable ability to remember complex, unpaid orders, but would instantly forget the details of an order the moment it was paid for. Her research concluded that the human brain has a powerful, built-in need for completion. Unfinished tasks remain active in our subconscious, creating a low-level cognitive tension that seeks resolution. When you apply the law of the first step, when you simply put on your shoes, you are not just making the task easier, you are strategically opening a loop in your brain. You are starting a story that your mind now wants to finish. That open task creates a gentle but persistent pull, making it far more likely that you will proceed with the second step. And the third, you are using your brain's own innate desire for closure as the engine for your discipline. The first step is not just a step, it is a trigger. When we are inspired, we try to change everything at once. We build a long, fragile list of new habits, and when one of them fails, the entire structure collapses. This is a strategy for failure. The Shaolin path teaches that true strength is built by perfecting one thing at a time. This is the ritual of the single vow. At the beginning of each day, you will make one and only one non-negotiable promise to yourself. A single little yes that you will honor, no matter what. Your vow for today might be, I will not hit the snooze button. That is all. It is not about your workout, your diet, or your work. It is only about that one promise. Tomorrow, it might be, I will drink a glass of water before my coffee. The day after, I will read 1 page of a book. The goal here is not the task itself. The goal is to train the muscle of integrity. By keeping this one single vow, day after day, you are rebuilding your relationship with yourself. You are proving, on a neurological level, that your word is law. You are casting a daily, undeniable vote for the identity of someone who does what they say they will do. This self-trust is the bedrock upon which all greater discipline is built. The whisper of the little no is at its most seductive when your why is weak. The voice of comfort will always win if it is arguing against a vague, logical, or uninspiring goal. To defeat it, you need a shield. That shield is your purpose. Your purpose is not I want to lose weight. It is I want the boundless energy to be fully present and joyful with my family. Your purpose is not I want to write a book. It is I have a message inside me that could change someone's life, and it is my duty to share it. Your task is to make this purpose real. Write it down, put it where you can see it. When the temptation of the little no arises, you must consciously hold up this shield. You ask yourself, is this moment of comfort worth more than the energy to play with my children? Is this distraction worth more than the duty to share my message? When the why is strong enough, the how becomes insignificant. Your purpose is the emotional leverage that allows you to choose the hard path of the little yes, because it is the path that honors what you truly value. These are your weapons. The law of the first step to begin, the ritual of the single vow to build trust, and the shield of purpose to defend your resolve. With these tools, you are no longer a victim of your neurology. You are its master, and you are ready to walk the path of a life lived in honor. You have been given the arsenal for daily integrity, the law of the first step to outsmart resistance, the ritual of the single vow to build self-trust, and the shield of purpose to defend your resolve. With these tools, you now have the power to consciously rewire your brain, one little yes at a time.
but we must now elevate our understanding. This journey is about something far greater than simply finishing a project or building a new habit. The ultimate goal is not the destination, but the character of the person who walks the path. This is the final chapter, learning to live a life of honor. For years, you have been at war with yourself. A part of you dreams of a higher standard, while another part consistently chooses the path of least resistance. This internal conflict is the source of so much quiet suffering, guilt, and shame. It is the feeling of being a stranger in your own life, of watching yourself act in ways you do not respect. The path of the little yes is the path back to yourself. It is the path of integration, where your actions, your words, and your values finally become one. This alignment is the very definition of integrity. And a life lived in integrity is a life lived in a state of personal honor. Think of self-trust as a bank account. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, no matter how small, you make a deposit. Every little yes adds to your balance. When you say you will wake up, and you do, you make a deposit. When you say you will train, and you do, you make a deposit. Conversely, every little no is a withdrawal. Over time, a life of small compromises drains this account completely. When the balance is zero, you have no faith in yourself. You become fragile. The slightest challenge can shatter your resolve because you have no inner foundation of trust to stand on. You don't believe your own promises, so why would you even start? But when your account is overflowing from 1,000 little yeses, you become unshakable. Failure loses its sting, because you know it is just an event, not an identity. You have absolute faith that you will show up for yourself again tomorrow. This is the source of true confidence. It is not the belief that you will never fail. It is the absolute knowledge that you will never betray yourself. This idea is not new. It is an ancient form of wisdom, perfected by some of the strongest minds in human history. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, a devout Stoic philosopher, wrote extensively about this concept. He called it building the inner citadel. The inner citadel is a fortress within your mind, a place of peace and strength that no external event, no misfortune, and no person can ever breach. But this fortress is not built of stone or steel. It is built from your choices. It is constructed from your virtues, your reason, and your self-discipline. Every time you choose honor over comfort, every time you choose integrity over ease, you are adding another stone to the wall of your inner citadel. You are building a sanctuary of self-respect that the chaos of the world cannot touch. A life of little yeses is the Stoic practice of building this fortress, one action at a time. You are not just achieving goals, you are becoming impenetrable. This is the shift from being a dreamer to being a doer. The dreamer lives in the future, intoxicated by the promise of what could be. The doer lives in the now, grounded in the honor of the action being taken. The bridge between these two worlds is the little yes. So, the next time you feel it, that familiar pull towards comfort, that seductive whisper of tomorrow, the temptation of the little no, I want you to pause, and instead of labeling it a choice between effort and ease, I want you to give it its true name, a choice between honor and regret. You are the architect of your neurology. You are the forger of your own character. You are the keeper of your own word. The small choices you make in the quiet moments when no one is watching are the ones that define you. You were never meant to be a victim of your own habits. You were designed, from the cellular level up, to be the creator of your own strength. The 1,000 small temptations of your day are not your enemies. They are your training ground, sent to awaken the master within you. The question is no longer what you will do to stop giving up on your goals. The question is, what small act of honor will you choose to lay the first stone of your unshakable life today? Gratitude.